Today, drama means life struggles, drama means toxicity, and drama means you just can't stop being the moth to a flame. Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. Today we're talking about the 2026 thaibl drama, Burnout Syndrome.
And first, a summary. A struggling artist takes a job working for an aloof millionaire and quickly has his entire life turned completely upside down. That's the best I could do.
Yeah. I mean, his life was kind of already upside down, so I don't know how much more upside down he could have been turned around. But I guess
Well, when I think about this show, is he was a struggling artist, right? Can't make ends meet. And you're like, that's the worst problem you can have, is not being able to pay your bills.
Well, he also was in debt.
Yeah. Or the worst problem you have is getting involved with a millionaire and his other coworker, and just how the mess of, your life. And so maybe it's money doesn't solve everything, because now you've solved one problem and you've introduced a whole host of different problems and emotions and tangle and all that kind of stuff. So upside down in a different way, perhaps.
So I'm going to start off with saying that offgun is my ultimate ship.
What? No. Maybe the OG bottle, an OG t-shirt, an OG second bottle in a different color, and OG shirts, and G shirts, and O shirts.
It's not that it's second bottle in another color. It's literally the black one represents off and the white one represents gun.
If that was true, though, one of them should say off and the other should say gun, but they both just say OG.
True. They both say off gun, basically.
Yeah. So, your favorite. So tell us more.
So I wanted to say that, and they aren't my first BL couple ship.
They're not. I thought they were.
No, White and Captain.
Oh, I forgot about Captain.
I know.
I stopped paying attention to Captain when he went and became a monk for a bit.
Oh. And
I was like, oh, he's a monk. And that was the first time I understood that. It was so, I didn't understand that idea, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. So that's what I always associate Captain with.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time I ever heard of that kind of idea.
Yeah. The thing is, Captain's still acting, but he's in some things that we don't really have access to. So.
Well, this episode's not about him anyway.
True. This is about offgun. Because they're amazing chemistry.
And they work a lot, and they work with each other, they work without each other. They're kind of a big deal.
I think this is how they can maintain this 10-year relationship and partnership. And it's just hey, we're actors. We totally acknowledge the fact that they are our partner, but we're allowed to act in other things. And, especially with how amazing of an actor Gunn is, he's gonna always want to push the limits and take roles that he can really play with and
Well, and also when we saw him in
Leap Day.
Leap Day, that's definitely not a role you can take in a romantic type drama. That's not a shipper role. That's a role he's taking as a side character, very integral character.
Yeah.
But it's the type of role that you couldn't really play if you just stuck to the cutesy off-gun romance, type shows.
Yeah. So I do think that because they're such a pinnacle couple within GMMTV, so back in the day, they always said the three pillars of GMMTV, which is offgun, tame, and Chris Cincto. They were the pillars, GMMTV didn't become GMMTV this big conglomerate, powerhouse without these three couples.
Are we talking about my Tenu?
Yeah, your Tenu.
Oh, yeah.
But since then, GMMTV really likes to use... GMMTV likes to make a lot of social commentary in general, but they really use offgun as a, ahead of everybody social commentary.
Right.
And because they have so much clout and so much recognition, what comes from their shows really make a statement within like the community and, you know, the general public. So we saw that in the show Not Me, when they really made the commentary of like government corruption and corruption within like, you know, police officers and military and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also like, you know, marriage equality. And that really put it right in the forefront. And to now in 2025, they made it legal for.
Yeah, and so I mean that's what good art is supposed to do, right? Good art is supposed to push society to take a look at itself and reflect and make change. Like that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah.
And I think we lose that a lot with the commercialization of art, and especially in filmed entertainment and art. And so that makes perfect sense if you take a step back and go, well, what is art for anyway? Art is supposed to reflect and shine back on society.
Yeah.
So I think that it's nice that they don't, I wouldn't say even preachy, they basically just shine that light, so then hopefully some changes can get made. And it did. I mean,
yeah, it did for sure.
Like, start the conversation.
Yeah. So with Burnout, I'm just going to call it Burnout. We've always just called it Burnout. I didn't even realize there was a syndrome at the end of the title.
Yeah.
But anyways, but with Burnout, their social commentary is now like, you know, artistry versus industry versus, you know, like AI and like, I remember reading some comments where people didn't really understand why AI was like brought into the subject so much. And I think they mistook it as like, oh, they're into AI. But what really it's trying to say is that, you know, AI really oversteps its boundaries and then really like takes these like artists like babies and like all their blood, sweat, and tears and make it seem so insignificant.
Absolutely.
That this is their commentary. This is what they're trying to tell the audience. Is that and you know, Jira is so betrayed by Call. I just want to call them offgun, but I'm going to try to keep calling them by their character names.
I'm going to call them offgun, so it's okay.
Yeah. So Jira's so betrayed because God takes his art, his love for God,
yep,
right, and just feeds it to AI, lets AI learn it, and literally has this AI create a generic, not as good version of his art.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically cheapens it because, you know, what does it take for an artist to create? It takes, you know, personal struggle. It takes personal point of view. And I think that's one thing we also forget with art is like it's coming from someone's point of view, whether it's painting, whether it's songs, like, okay, this is my interpretation of it. You may not like it. You may not think my interpretation of the world is correct, but that's where it's coming from. AI doesn't have that. AI can only take and mine data points and then kind of spit out new data points that are just a homologation of the old data points. And so it can't create, which I think is an important thing for all of us to remember, is that AI actually cannot create because it can only look back at what was and do their version.
Yeah.
And so for an artist, that's the ultimate kick in the face. Is like, I created something, you stole it and made a McDonald's cheeseburger version of it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, with how Jira feels is, God completely dismisses the emotions and basically, essentially, his love confession for God, right? And he disregards it. He doesn't see it as a love confession. He just sees, oh, this is something that I can feed into my AI. I paid for it. I can use it however I want. It's literal his words, right? So,
which isn't true, by the way, because the artist owns it. Like, just gonna say that you can buy it, but the artist still owns it.
Yeah.
So you paid for it. Don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Get that straight. Off.
Go
off.
But anyway, what we're saying is GMMTV often pushes out all this social commentary. And the thing is, we say a lot of this, and a lot of the fans are like, have this really love-hate relationship with GMMTV, because we also believe that GMMTV is a lot of times in it for the cash, as it is a company, it is a business, and they sometimes overlook their artists and, you know, don't really take care of them, and so the fans are very mad at GMMTV. But what GMMTV does try to do, and very like, because they're so big that they have a louder voice, right? Is they're trying to make, you know, society better in a certain way. And maybe they, you know, miss the point sometimes. But they do have this, you know, hey guys, don't just look at AI as like this fun thing where you can make animal martial arts films.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
like,
fun toy.
yeah.
Don't mistake that for high art.
Yeah. You're really, really pushing out artists who can really make a statement, who can really show something to the world, you know, and so that is a huge commentary on in the show that GMM TV is trying to make.
I mean, I would also going back to the GMM TV versus, you know, trying to make as much money as you can by running your artists ragged versus social commentary. We have to remember of all the people in between what would be the company of GMM TV and then the creators within that ecosphere that actually put out the entertainment. Like, you can say, you know, NBC, CBS are these evil corporations that do horrible things, but then they make all this art that kind of talks against, you know, all these things. You're like, yeah, because the artists aren't actually running the corporation. The artists are hired. And this is not, I'm not using this term in a bad way, exploited by the company. And that's the company's job, is to exploit the artists, and it's the artist's job to exploit the company. And it's a give and take. You know, you've hired me to make something that people will watch so you can get money. And while they're watching, it is my job to get the social commentary in there. Well, you never even really notice, or maybe you do and you're okay with the way it's been executed.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of layers to that. So you have to give GMM TV, you know, credit that they're not putting out like corporate mandates. They're not allowed to touch these subjects, and they just go after them while simultaneously trying to make money for the company.
Yeah. So in the show, at some point, they also bring in the idea of, you know, capitalism versus artistry.
Sure.
Where Gunn takes a whole year off of just like painting and creating all this art and do this gallery, and he sells one thing, you know, and it's like, and it's not even that much for the time and effort that he's put in with his work. And it's just like, he's like, why can't you make money being an artist, you know, kind of thing. And that's like brought into the limelight. So,
well, that's the oldest argument in the book, right? Like, you're talking about when we went to grade school, what did they always say about artists? That you never made any money as an artist until you died. Like, you never became a famous artist until you died. So artists were always like, that's where the term starving artist comes from.
Yeah.
And this one also, though, does kind of dig into, like, be careful what you wish for, because, like, monetizing art is also dangerous. So if you're a starving artist, you have 100% control of all of what you do, because no one's paying you the bills, and so you do what you want to do, and if it sells, it sells. When you start making art for the man, now you have to have input, and now other people can tarnish your artistic view. And it's a trade-off, and it's not always fair. It's rarely fair, but it is the trade-off. Do you want to make a living as an artist, or do you want to, you know, die as a starving artist?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like beware what you wish for a little bit in this. You only sell one painting. Well, now you work for a millionaire who's using your art to feed an AI, which may destroy art as we know it, you know?
Yeah. So it has a lot. So there are like different layers and depths in this series.
Yes.
But when we get back to first and foremost offgun, and it's undeniable they have chemistry.
Well, if they don't have chemistry by now, they should have quit.
Yeah, I mean, like 10 years into it, right? The thing is, and I'm not kidding you when I say no matter what show you watch of Offgun and they're together, there's always a moment they break character and they're just Offgun fucking around with each other.
I mean, again, also hard not to do, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happened too much at the wrong moments, I think it would pull you out. It's kind of like on SNL, like when the characters like break during a sketch, how like if you're a huge fan of the sketch, in this case, if you're a huge fan of Offgun, it actually makes that moment even a little better because you get to see just a little peek. Like they can't do it too much or else it ruins the show, but like peek ain't too bad.
Yeah, it is a little endearing to see like, oh, because we know Offgun. They love like playing and like Off loves teasing Gun and not that they do it in the show or anything, but like it's the moments when like Off is messing with Gun and then he goes, "Papi."
But they definitely have a chemistry that exists on screen between their characters and obviously off screen as human beings. And so I think that line is going to blur from time to time. And like I said, unless it's distracting to the story, we'll just go along for the ride and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think from an acting perspective, I think I've said this many times before, is Gunn is an incredible actor. And I think, I don't remember what show it was, if we were watching and I was like, wow, this guy does more with less than anyone I've maybe ever seen. Like you barely give him anything to do in a scene and he's just going to find a way to make it really intriguing.
It's this one.
This isn't the one where they stepped on his acting with the music, is it? Was that a different show? Or that might have been a different actor too.
That was Forever You Beside the Sky.
Yeah. But
no. In this one, we watched it. It was literally episode 1, and you're just watching Gunn act. And you said, like he could be given nothing, and he will give you everything.
Yeah, and I feel like when I watch him act, I don't ever feel like I'm watching him acting. I just feel like I'm watching him absorbing the scene and pulling you into it. And it's like every look, every move, everything feels like it has purpose. And it's just very like next level. And it's hard to say whether that's a trained thing, a natural thing, like who really knows. But the guy knows his craft.
Yeah, Gunn has always been good. But I feel like over the years, he's definitely gotten even better. And, as he's done so many different characters now, he's definitely, as I said before, he's looking for, like, another character he could really, like, play with, like...
Yeah, challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play the same thing every time.
Yeah. So, which brings me to say something that is, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for. And the thing is, as I said before, Offgun is my ultimate BL couple.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Off is also kind of like my bias. I find him very attractive. Like, as I said a long time ago, that like I have, actors that I really obsess over, because I love their acting. They're really good at their craft. And then there are celebrities that I just find attractive. And Off is one that I find attractive, right? With that said, I really do believe that at this time in his career, maybe it's time for him to invest more in like more acting lessons.
No, more training.
Really deep dive into like his emotions when he's acting, because it really shows in this one that surface acting that he's used to in like a lot of the rom-coms and like the comedies that he does, it's not gonna cut it anymore.
Well, I mean, it really depends on the genre too. Like when you're doing something like this, which I think we'll get into a little bit later about the kind of tone of this feels more closer to like an indie than it does kind of a bubblegum, modern romance type show.
Yeah.
And I do think you have to bring that level of gravity to the performance here that you wouldn't have to. Like, I think with Breakup Service, like, he's perfect for that. It's breezy, it's light, he gets to play the asshole, like, he gets, and like, he plays the victim of all of his kind of accidents really well, and it's funny.
Yeah.
And I think those roles require one set of skills, and roles like Burnout maybe require a set of skills he doesn't quite have yet.
Yeah. And the thing is, I can tell he's tried. He's trying. And I don't feel the emotions from him. And even though he's really trying to tell, the audience that he's feeling these emotions and how torn he is when, like, he can't, when he's burned his bridges with Gunn, so to speak, you still don't quite get what you want.
Yeah, there's a layer that is missing. Like, I think you said it. The deeper, like, underneath, let me, like, peel back that surface layer and really let me see the rawness. That's still not quite there. There's a polish there that we can't get past.
Yeah. And I really want to see him succeed. I mean, he is quite successful already, but, like, I really want him to, like, step up his acting game. And because I am such a great fan of his, that I really want him to be, like, on equal footing with Gunn. And that's really, really hard to do as it is. But, like, he really does need to get up there, And I said this before with Ying War, where, like, War is such an amazing actor, and he was, like, on a different level compared to Ying, and Ying really, really had to step up his game to be on, like, equal footing with War. And even though he still hasn't quite succeeded to that point yet, he improved so much that you can really see and like, you can feel his emotions. Whereas I feel like with Off, it's been 10 years since they've been working together, and they've done so many roles. And as, they're getting older, their roles are getting more mature and more emotional and just deeper, that he really needs to, like, get to that level as well.
Now, I will say, in his defense, sometimes this is and I won't say the performance was a failure, but I'm just going to use that word because it's simple. This is a failure by comparison because of who he's in scenes with. And when you act opposite someone who captures every single scene they're in, sometimes even good actors, you're like, yeah, good job, bud. Sorry, you're not Gunn.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. And so that is also the deficit he's at. He happens to be acting across from someone that has the ability to steal every single scene he's in.
True.
And I think, we watch sometimes movies and you go, wow, this character, I remember watching way back when it was like Fargo season 1 and Billy Bob Thornton gets on screen and you just go, oh, right. Oh, he's like a step letter grade above everyone else. No one is bad in that show. Everyone else is just disappears. And so I think that's also what he's up against.
That is true. And I'm going to try to defend him even more because I am a super fan. So I'm arguing with myself, really, is that his character is a little, like, don't really know how to emote as well. And he is, like, a selfish character because he like, protects himself and his emotions. He doesn't want to open up to his friends or the people around him because he watched his dad go through basically the biggest crisis in his whole life and his whole family, and which ultimately leads to his dad's, like, death, right? Yeah. And so he does protect his emotions and his true feelings deep down, to the point where he's gotten so, like, unfeeling and unyielding to the people around him that he does feel cold and selfish, right? Don't think I didn't analyze his character. I definitely did. But there is a way to play it where he had better acting, right? So I I know like where his character's going, and I like, you know, the people are trying to defend him, but I do think that his acting was quite lacking for this character.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think there's a way to play that where the layers can be peeled back and we can see just how different this kind of guarded character is versus, you know, moments of vulnerability.
Yeah.
I think that's what great actors will find, those moments to be vulnerable within the caricature that they're kind of playing over the top. You know, it's that candy coated shell. It's the chocolate dip cone. Like, we want to see inside of it too. We don't want to just see the rough exterior. We want to see it being pulled back and almost be smart for spotting it. You know, and I know subtlety is a dying art, but it is what really separates like good from great. Everyone can tell what bad acting is. But when you go, oh, well, that was good, you're like, but why wasn't it great? Ah, the subtlety. Watch Gunn, watch what he does in scenes to do the littlest things to go, oh, yeah, that's great. That's why it's great.
Yeah. So moving away from my thoughts of off.
Your shit talking of off. Yeah, take that off.
The thing is, I don't like to shit talk off.
Like, I think it's a very honest assessment where you can look at someone you like really like to watch and go, you know what? I think there's still something missing here. That's a mature, like, you know, you're not just got stars in your eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You. I got your back.
So I do have to say, Dew's acting. And honestly, I've been indifferent about Dew, you know, after several of his series that I've watched him in. Which is whatever. I don't dislike him, but I'm not like goo goo gaga over him either.
Right.
But that scene where he is, you know, like at this point, Jira has broken his heart. And he goes and helps his friend, Mawin, audition for this role. And he's supposed to be like opposite AJ, right? Or Mawin, however you want to call him. And he's doing this role and he's auditioning, but like he's picturing Gunn. He's picturing Jira, right? And the emotions are just like overwhelming and he's trying to hold it back and he's like, but every thread he's like bringing out in this, it's essentially a monologue.
Yeah.
Right? He was brilliant in it. And I'm like, I was really impressed with Dew's acting in that scene. There's a few scenes in it that he was really good in as well. This is where I'm saying with like also off is like we have these younger actors coming on and really overshadowing Off's acting.
Right.
And that's where I'm like getting a little afraid for Off, you know? And I'm like, you need to like step up your game because all these people are going to overshadow you. And I know you're still a pillar of GMMTV, but like, you know,
nothing's promised.
Nothing is promised. So I really need Off to do better. I know it was like we're talking about Dew.
And then you went right back.
Yeah.
I will say the job here for Dew is very difficult to come in and kind of play the third point of this triangle to this established pairing that we're so used to seeing together. And normally they're like just a recipe for every, you know, audience member to hate your character. Like, don't drive a wedge. We know it's scripted, but like, don't drive a wedge between our beloved people. What are you doing? I hate your character and I hate you and I hate you for taking this part.
Yeah.
But somehow managing to make it a successful role, that's a hard job.
It's a hard job and he did it so well.
Yeah. So I think it goes a long way to talk about, you know, how good his character was, that it wasn't just the annoying roadblock in like love triangles that we hate. We're like, of course he's never going to end up with this dude. Just get this over with.
Yeah.
But give us an engaging character that we can like understand.
Yeah. Kudos to him. And I'm actually excited to see like other roles that he, you know, takes in the future. Although he now has a new pairing. So we'll see. Because I'm kind of worried that he's taking these like nice, you know, serious roles with where he can really express his acting, and then he has a new pairing. It's gonna go into romance and rom-com, and then all of a sudden he's going to do surface level characters.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the evolution, right? I mean, you want to be a lead character. You want to be the top level pairing, the headliners. Sometimes you're going to have to do the bubblegum.
Yeah.
Which there's a place for, and hopefully, though, he takes this experience and goes, oh, I really enjoyed finding that character, and maybe there's other projects where he can bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I when we watched Leap Day, I didn't like his character in Leap Day. I didn't think he did a bad job, but I think to your point, he was like kind of like, I could take him or leave him. I don't really have an opinion going out of that drama whether I want to see more of him or not. Coming out of this, you're like, okay, maybe you should be the lead of something. Maybe you should be.
Well, he's been the lead.
You know what I mean, though. But like, given your own pairing, given like a little more spotlight to do what you do.
Yeah.
Do.
God.
Do what you do.
So we've talked about that, and I might get to the point where I'm gonna make a lot of people mad.
Again, other than bagging off in his acting, you're gonna go deeper.
I don't know. In the beginning, GMMTV had put out like a teaser that kind of made this seem like, oh, it's gonna be like a love triangle, or maybe even like a throuple situation. And then as they put out trailers and you're like, oh no, this is gonna be like really messy, and it's gonna, you're gonna like really feel all the, and the thing is, we haven't seen Offgun do these types of roles before in this type of show, and so the fans were excited. I was excited.
Well, didn't someone also try to describe these characters as like all the characters are red flags? Like
yeah,
Off's character is like a red flag in every direction, and even Gun's character is a little bit of a red flag in every direction.
The thing is, they are. Right? The thing is, I felt like it wasn't enough.
Like it wasn't messy enough.
It wasn't messy enough.
For what they promised.
Yeah, it wasn't like indie enough. And the thing is, I always feel this with GMMTV projects, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but I always feel like GMMTV has this thing where they kind of want to do something innovative, right? And they kind of dip their toe in it a little bit. But then they still give you a lot of the same things that they're used to. And, no. And it's like, it's that kind of little cliche, like, generic, bubble gummy, as you had said before. But then they're like, oh, but we actually want to do this, but we're too afraid to go really deep into it, so we're still gonna like give you a lot of the surface level stuff.
Yeah, no, they're lacking the courage to like go all the way there.
Yeah, and
I mean, I worked on a show way back in the day, and we were told like this was the new dark side of the network. Like they wanted deep, dark, emotional, like controversial, like just something that like HBO would do, and that's what we gave them. And after like one episode, they were like, it's a little like bleak. It's a little like, it's like not fun. Like it's, and like all of their tendencies from like the fun kind of breezy network they were, they just ran back into the comforts of that. They ran so fast from like, well, does this have to be so sad? Did the wife have to have an affair? Like all these things. And so I feel like sometimes when you try to break out of your shell, they don't actually have the courage to like see it all the way through. So you still get a diet version of your indie messy red flag, whoa, like, shocking type drama.
Yeah. And so like, don't get me wrong. All three characters, in my opinion, are red flags. Like I don't know how you get back to being in a relationship after like being betrayed by Ko's character as much as in the show, but it just wasn't like harsh enough, and it just, if you're gonna do it, go all out and just do it, and makes it so messy that you're like, damn, like Clorox can't clean it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I thought too, like, I thought one of the ways they made this feel like GMMTV all grown up or like the dark side is just making the show really slow.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like networks make that mistake, like, oh, we're going to do prestige television, which means nothing will happen. And there's going to be really long shots of people like lounging in comfy chairs, staring wistfully out windows, contemplating. And that just means it's prestige all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's like slow doesn't actually like mean like highbrow, just because a lot of highbrow shows are slow.
Yeah.
So I feel like they went there. I was like, oh, make it slow. And then it will, you know, kind of cover up the sheen.
And the thing is, cinematography wise, they were really trying to go like almost like a film noir-esque, like thematic, first of all, but also like the coloring and all that stuff. But then there would be scenes that's just like, oh yeah, well, this is overlit. And this is like not, you know, like it's
just fall back into your comfort zone.
Yeah. And so it just kind of gets like, I really wish that GMMTV would like take the time and effort and really invest. And the thing is, they're churning these shows out. And the thing is, fans are like, oh, we need more. We need to consume more. So they're like churning them out. Like, I'm getting off topic, but like there's a show called Dare You to Death, right? And like, which is on Netflix. And GMMTV did no promotion for it at all. But they like tried to do this crime drama. But like, the crime in it is so stupid. And nothing made sense at all. And it just falls back into the silly, like, oh, like getting way too close into the face and staring at each other. And don't get me wrong, I like the actors and stuff, but like when you put no effort into the story, no matter how hard you try and how good that your actors are, like it's just not going to do well. And then I think what they realized, GMMTV, that they didn't put enough effort into the story, so then they didn't promote it, and then the actors had to go around like just like guerrilla promoting this show.
Yeah, just so someone watches it.
Yeah, and it's just like,
but it does speak to like what you're talking about here, like you're operating outside your comfort zone a little bit, like you've made a brand and this is our brand, and now you're like, well, can we diversify? Can we also be edgy? Can we also be, you know, actiony? Can we also be a crime thriller? Can we also be noir? But you can't do that by kind of the old college try. Like you have to really do it if you're going to go there. Like just if you're going to dive into the pool, like dive head first.
Yeah.
And there's no safety net. And maybe that creates a colossal failure as a brand, but at least you like gave it the full effort.
Yeah. And the thing is, they built their whole company on these college, like rom-com-esque, you know, BL romance series, right? Yeah. And so that's what they know. And don't even get me started on like gunfighting and action in any GMM TV show. It is all shit. Like it's not good. And they don't put enough effort into like training, you know, your actors on how to freaking like fight for real.
Well, they just don't have time. Like, yeah, like you say, the way they're cranking these things out, like they have time to stand in rooms and talk to each other. Like that's the type of shows they do. That's how they're able to shoot this fast.
Yeah.
And this many things. The only way you can shoot that fast is if it's just people in rooms or outside talking to each other.
Yeah.
The second you start doing anything else, time, you can't spit it out. You work 20-hour days now all of a sudden and your actors are exhausted and the product sucks.
Yeah. And they're also doing other shows, you know.
But, and they're promoting the last two things they were just in. So you're like, these guys just go. So you have to, like you said, like you have to commit to the thing and doing it well, not just doing it.
Exactly. And I feel like Burnout itself, it like the theme is good and like the what it wants to be is good. But what they give us is this kind of surface level, messy, but not quite messy enough. You know, romantic, but not quite romantic enough. Red flag, but not quite red flag enough. And it's just this kind of like, it teeters from one thing. It's never like you know, like if you're gonna do this like emotional, you know, drama where it's like all about relationships and the mess and you know, just kind of almost like not quite Lockwood style, but like, you know, just those intense moments, freaking do it, right? Put it all in and just do it. But they're like, okay, well, we want to have a plot, which they tried to have some kind of a really thin plot of this whole like tank, you know, building this AI system and then tanking like this designer and his company and all this stuff and like the black, not the black and white, but like the gray area and like of Gunn wanting to make money and then, you know, survive to like trying to support what he believes in and art and dreams and things like that. Yeah, they have it in there and they're telling you and they're like force feeding it to the audience, but they're not really showing you, you know? And it's just not like that part is like, oh, we're only going to give you a bit of it and we're going to like tell you what it's about so that you could have kind of feelings about it. But of course a lot of fans just want to see, you know, Offgun interact or like maybe see how Dew puts a wedge between, you know,
right,
Offgun. But it's like, okay, so if you're not going to really care about this plot and this, like, even though you're making social commentary, you're not even going all in on that, on the social commentary.
yeah.
So it's just like you're giving us all these little like a taste, like an appetizer, but you don't get full from it.
I mean, I think what it leads to here is a drama that kind of lacks identity. Like I talk about a lot of like, what is the priority of the show? Is the priority a comedy, and then in the background it's kind of a romance or an action, or is it an action with the background of comedy and romance? Like, what is your priority as a filmmaker? If you have to sit down and go, what is this about? What are you trying to do here? And this one doesn't feel like I really know. Like, are you trying to make a super highbrow kind of indie comment piece? Are you trying to make this romancy shipping cute moment piece?
Yeah, like I appreciate what they're doing, but I just don't think they quite got to where they needed to be with this series. Um, I welcome more of them.
Yeah, do you think they dipped their toe? Do you think this is a invitation to now go get more? Or are they going to kind of straddle this line and
Quite frankly, I think they. So I had similar feelings about Not Me, where they tried to get to a certain point, and even with that, they like tried a little bit even harder with the plot. It was a messy plot, and like a lot of it didn't quite like work, you know, like logistically, like with, you know, the stuff that they were doing and like it was just again, it was like a very like slapped together surface level story itself, and they just wanted to get to certain points, right? And then they added a lot of your normal commercial like slow-mo stare at each other in the eyes moments,
yeah,
and it's just like it was, they were doing what they new, right?
what they always do?
Yeah, what they always do. And what the fans really want to see. But the thing is, it's so old and tired, you know, and then you just add these elements to like a series that shouldn't have these elements. But they were content with it, with Not Me. And because it was so well received, and then like with the social commentary of like reaching, you know, the general public to where they needed to be, they didn't feel like they really needed to improve on that. So then they made, you know, Burnout, which I feel like they were probably content with what they came out with. And so until they realize that it's not quite hitting its mark, they're never going to improve.
Right. Yeah, very good point.
So I do think that they want to try all these like new things and new themes. And I think a couple of years ago they like sent out this big like, you know, thing of they wanted to seek more creators of story. right? Like more ideas of what, GMMTV shows could be, right? And the thing is, when you like broadly go out, yeah, you're gonna come across some really good stories, but for the most part, you're gonna get a lot of like general ideas, and then you're gonna have to like, you know, add on to that and embellish that idea into an actual story. And the thing is, if you're kind of weak at it in general, you're not gonna be able to put as much into it, and then of course you're not going to have time because like once again they're just churning a bunch of product out,
Yeah.
right? And really their main goal is cash, right? Like the revenue. So I honestly don't think that GMMTV is really going to get to the point where their product is ever going to be real art.
I mean, and that's fine. Like sometimes companies stay in their lane.
I mean, the thing is, when you're just so comfortable and used to commercialism, like that's just what you're going to stick with. And even though you want to put a little bit of artistry towards it, it's just still going to be a commercial series, right? And
Yep.
that's what they're used to making, and that's what's making them money. So, and that's what's actually working for them. So until they themselves are not content with what they're putting out, they're not going to do any better.
Yeah, it takes a really good one to break the mold, I guess.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like with Kin Porsche, it created a whole like, hey, you guys have to put more effort into your product, and so then it led to a lot more like companies trying to do better and not sticking with, their normal mold. So, and the thing is, even with GMMTV, they saw like, oh, well, Beyond Cloud came out with this show that's like, lit like a movie, and
yeah,
or like, I told Sunset About You, where it was like just this amazing, beautiful art. Yeah, GMMTV kind of upped their game a little bit, but they're used to their commercialism.
Yeah, just not there yet, I think is a good way to put it for this one. Just not quite there yet.
Yeah. So my rating is Stepping Out for Fresh Air. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so good.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a mid. It's a mid rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was tempted to rate it actually Land Sickness, because I just honestly, to me, this one just kind of bored me. Like it's just a little boring. Like it's slow. It doesn't keep my attention. I didn't really feel like watching it. Like, so Land Sickness, I guess, for me. I love Offgun too. I think they're really great. I'm a big fan of Gun particularly. And honestly, when I see Off in things, I almost always like him. Like, I thought he made Breakup Service enjoyable. Like that pairing was really good, and that. So like, I can't hate on either of these guys. Just this one wasn't really it.
Yeah, I really do think it's the story that's really lacking. I think I'm not really sure if it's based off of a book or something like that. It probably is. So I don't actually know what the book, if it is based off of a book, I don't know what the actual like material is. Yeah, I just felt it was lacking in general.
Well, there you go. But that does it for this episode this week, and we'll be back next week with more drama talk.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.